Hello and welcome to Switch Scheme. Happy New Year to you, and here's to hoping that 2024 brings us great games and great gaming experiences along the way. In this video, we're taking a look at games coming out in January 2024. I would normally keep this list to Switch games only, but there are a couple games coming for next-gen consoles and PC that I want to talk about. If you enjoy the content, drop a like and sub. I'll be working on the December eShop code giveaway and announcing the winners next week. If you want to join January's giveaway, watch the videos that I release in January for the secret code word and use that word in the respective video's comments. That's it! At the end of the month, I'll give away two $20 Nintendo eShop codes as a thank you for your support. Starting off, we have one of the few big AAA titles that we're going to be getting on the Switch this month, Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. Ubisoft is finally bringing this series back, and although most people, myself included, will remember the 3D environments and platforming from arguably the best game in the series, Sands of Time, they're actually taking it back to the series' roots and origins as a side-scroller. All of the gameplay we've seen so far has me pretty excited, but I'm not often fond of Ubisoft games, with a few exceptions being maybe Far Cry 3 through 5 and the Division titles, so who knows how this one's gonna go for me personally. It looks like it will have tight controls and engaging combat, and time will tell if it lives up to all the hype and expectation. I am personally hoping that this game knocks it out of the park, as I would love to see the Prince of Persia games make a comeback. Next on the list of Switch games that I'm actually hyped for, we have Ace Attorney Apollo Justice, an Ace Attorney Trilogy. I love this series. It's funny, kooky, crazy, and ever quotable. This specific trilogy was released back in the late 2000s on the DS and phones, and finally it's coming to our next-gen PC and Switch this year. As with most games in the series, they are a mix of graphic novel and adventure, where you have to prove your client's innocence or guilt using clues you may or may not have found based on how you played out the story. They are super fun games, and although visual novels aren't for everyone, I think this series really brought the concept to more players with its goofy premise and art. Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters is another Switch release that we can look forward to this month, but honestly, I'm not too thrilled for this one. The Neptunia series isn't one as big as I think it wishes it was. It's got a lot of games in the series, but they're not always that great. Based on the Steam reviews for this one, which thankfully are positive, it's got a decent but darker story than the rest in the franchise, but it also says it has some of the weakest combat in the series. I love the visuals as an anime fan, and on paper it's an action RPG, which makes it promising. I'll probably give it a go for the review, but I'm not holding my breath that I'll be blown away. On the opposite end of the excitement spectrum, we have Leica, Age Through Blood, a very artistic look at the Metroidvania style. It's got an amazing story, and an art style that I immediately was drawn to. The gameplay looks like it's going to be top notch. It rocks great reviews on Steam, and the fact that it's finally coming into the Switch is a blessing. Riding around on a motorcycle doing acrobatic jumps and spins while aiming your weapons just feels good and stupid in the best of ways. Leica, Age Through Blood is probably one of my most anticipated games of the month. Lastly on the Switch, let's discuss Dreadout 2. Now I have not played this, but I know of it because it pops up all the time on my Steam page recommendations list due to the large number of horror games that I often play. Looking at the reviews, it's mostly positive at 74%, which is promising. Common comments that I'm reading are that it's a fun game with a mildly decent atmosphere that the first game did better, the environments are fine, some of the character models are top notch while others are really bad, and that the gameplay is fun, but also sometimes funny with all the bugs and technical issues causing some rather humorous interactions. I'm also seeing a lot of comments on the voice acting being PS1 levels of cringe, which I'm here for. It's still rocking a positive reputation though, so I am looking forward to it and giving it a try. Now I do see that over at PlayAsia.com they are releasing a physical, so I will probably grab that, and if you like physical over digital, PlayAsia.com is where you want to be. Now those are my main Switch games that are on my radar. I also see Gungrave Grove and another Code Recollection coming, but I have no knowledge or interest in those games, so just know that they're coming if those are something that you're interested in. As for other console and PC releases, I think the one I want to talk to you about the most is The Last of Us 2 Remastered. I love The Last of Us 1 and 2. They are some of my all-time favorite games, and the show just made me love the series even more. I did buy The Last of Us 1 Remastered because the game was old, and honestly, it needed a remaster at the time. But I don't know if I feel the same about The Last of Us 2. The game is not that old, it just came out a few years ago in 2020, and although I would always love seeing games that I love that are old get graphical and technical updates, I just don't understand why they feel it's needed for The Last of Us 2 already, other than getting it into the hands of PS5 owners and making a little extra cash. Consider this, in a few years, another console will likely be hovering over our minds, and are they just gonna do this again? It will just seem too soon. Now will I buy it? Maybe. Those of us who already own it, it's only going to cost $10 for the upgrade, and if the reviews come out saying that the upgrade is worth it, I'll go for it. But if it's not, I'm going to spend that $10 elsewhere because voting with my wallet is the most power that I have as a consumer. The Last of Us 2 Remastered is the most confusing release for me this month, but hopefully they don't screw it up as badly as they did when the first game released as a remaster on the PC. Lastly, for the month of January, we have Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, coming for all previous gen and next gen consoles as well as the PC, but sadly not for the Switch. Now, I have not played any of these games, and for those of you who don't know, the Like a Dragon series is just the Yakuza series, but with the original name from Japan. Much like how the West got Dragon Warrior instead of Dragon Quest, but now we just call it Dragon Quest in both regions, which was the Japanese name of those games. These games are RPGs with some of the goofiest, craziest, and wackiest stories, and it's all in the best of ways. Now, I have Like a Dragon Yakuza on my PS5, and I might just have to give it an install and try before I play Infinite Wealth. I want to tell you a real quick funny story regarding the Yakuza series. Now, I've never played it, but I have a story regarding it that will always stick with me. A few years ago, I had a roommate who absolutely loved this game series, and one of the new games was coming out, but unfortunately, it was coming out a week before payday and she couldn't afford it. She asked me if I would front her the money so that way she could buy it on release date and she'd pay me back. Of course, I said yes, as she's always paid me back whenever I lent her money, and I said I'd PayPal it to her. So I PayPal her $65 so she could buy the game, and in the comment section I put for Yakuza so that way we could record what it was for. PayPal decided that they would block that transaction and hold my funds because they thought I was funding the actual Yakuza gang. I had to call PayPal support, show them what I was talking about, they had to look up the game, the release date, and the cost to confirm that it all lined up, and then they finally released the funds. It was one of the silliest things I have ever had to deal with, and the thought that I would just randomly be funding the Yakuza gang just kinda cracked me up. Anyways, those are the games coming this month that I am most excited for or have a mild interest in. Sadly, as with the movie industry, January is usually a pretty slow month, or it's a place where they put products to die as most people have already spent all their money on Christmas or the holidays, and therefore they don't have much to spend at the start of the year. I have a feeling Prince of Persia and Like a Dragon will do well if the reviews are positive, but other than that, no other real AAA games are coming. But what games are you most excited for this year? If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and sub, and as always, have a great day.